How you doing, my people? It's your boy DJ Sterl Pearl back one more again for the go-in. And today I have another special guest. No other than the incredible Madam Renee Kessler.
Thank you, Sterl the Pearl. Hey, Pearl, I'm so excited to be here with you.
Oh, I'm just glad I'm glad you made time to be with me. I know you're busy.
I am busy, Pearl, but this is something special, right? Because you know I say this to you all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
I like watching what you do, but then if I get to sit across from you and do what you do with you, it's on and popping. You know you make me proud, right? So I got to say this because you know how I am.
I'm trying hard, Renee. I'm trying hard.
You make me proud because, and we were talking about this even before we came on air, because of your authenticity, right? You are just real. And you have a gift that you don't mind sharing with the world. And here's what I really love, and you just said this just now. Your love and your passion is so authentic and sincere that it can't just be made up anywhere. And Knoxville seems to be, I don't know, mine runs red, yours runs orange. It's the blood of Jesus, but I know you got his in there too.
The Jesus and speaking about the love, the way you've shown me, all of you guys out here, you wonder how where Sterl gets the energy from sometimes. And sometimes you never know where it comes from because it's not in your face. This young lady's been praying for me for years and encouraging me for years. And so right now I'm giving you one of my solar panels right now. Right here in the go-in, baby.
I love it, and I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to be that one that you know you can count on that's praying for you.
Yes,
because I do need you to stay safe in what you're doing and stay covered, and I need you to stay Sterl the Pearl. So I don't need nothing to mess that up.
Well,
so
I appreciate you. And I tell everybody, the whole thing, and I've said this 1,000 times to you and everybody that's watching, anything good coming out of me that's a reflection of my mother.
Woo! Something about
and
that
that's
mama.
it. Ooh.
Something about that mama.
Bless.
We have been blessed.
So Nate, we here to talk about you, baby.
Okay.
Tell me about you. From Knoxville.
Born and raised, and I've been here my entire life. My brother, my maiden name, so people who know me today may know me as Reverend Renee Kessler, but I'm little Renee Fishback, right? Growing up. And so Joe Fishback is my brother, and I'm a Fishback, and my father's family is going to be from Lonsdale. My mom is going to be more East Knoxville. So
let's pause right there.
Now I'm not Lonsdale though. I'm East Knoxville, but my daddy is Lonsdale. See, I gotta make that preference because they don't play. Knoxville don't play. So I got the roots in Lonsdale. I got the roots in East Knoxville. You know how that works.
I know how that works. And those of you that don't know, Google it. But I want to make sure you Google this.
Right.
Reverend Renee Kessler's brother is Joe Fishback, an Austin East, legend. NFL football player through Carson Newman.
That's right.
I mean, done phenomenal things with Atlanta Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys.
That's right, Super Bowl champion.
How many people can say that? So that's what brother is. That's who Renee Fishback is now married, named Kessler.
And I appreciate you for saying that because it's people who know me and have always known me back then, my brother is truly my heart, right?
Oh, man.
He is so special to me. We're only a year apart, so we're very, very, very close. In fact, we're so close that when my brother gets married, I'm going to be his best man, though he's got all his friends there. When I get married, he's going to give me away, though my dad's alive, my stepdad's alive at that time. So my mom grew us up very close and very tight, and so he's very protective. That part I didn't like.
Be.
That part I did not
well,
like.
You're not supposed to like it.
That's a whole other story.
Exactly.
That's a brother thing. But I'm going to leave that right there. You just can't beat up your boyfriends in the front yard.
Why not?
They wouldn't even talk to me.
Let me tell you something. And that's why I want my sister's older than me. So I got a sister that's a lot older than 2 years, which is big when you're growing up. And my sister is kind of small in stature.
Right.
She would say, well, that's just my little brother. My little brother.
My little brother.
You let me know when
Just little brother do something.
Little bruh.
Look at it the wrong way.
It's a problem.
He couldn't even look at me. I remember
that's the deal.
It wasn't fair. The skating ring. Remember the skating ring?
Absolutely.
All we did, I was waiting for him to go get on the bus, right? At the end of the skating ring. So I could just skate with this boy. We're going to hold hands and go around the ring. So everybody's loading on the bus. I'm thinking he's turned in his shoes. He's getting on the bus. I can really have this skate with this boy around him. That joker came back up in there with tennis shoes on, ran on that. Get out my sister.
As he's supposed to. But this is what's going on, Renee. And I always said this to my sister.
Help me.
The real dudes.
Okay.
that really interested in you, they respect that.
Okay.
Because, as a guy
Either
come
that
up
or
in
they
New
just
Jersey.
scared of that.
Never wrong being scared. Never wrong being scared. Because as a young guy come up in New Jersey, back where I'm from, there's a couple of young ladies I had an interest in during my younger years.
Okay.
And their brothers, one of their brothers was the captain of the football team, and I'm in 9th grade.
Okay.
8th grade, because I wasn't even in high school yet. He ran up on me. I said, man, look, man, nothing's going to happen to her that don't happen to me first. That's what I said.
Okay.
And I'm a protector like you a protector. But you bigger than me, but ain't nothing gonna happen to her, don't happen to me first. But she gonna have a chance to run if it's a problem. He looked at me and said, Sterl, you got some heart.
Okay.
I said, well, man, I got a sister and I grew up with 7 women in my house, and they all older than me, and I gotta protect older women. And I get where you coming from, brother.
Yeah.
So he came up my face, gave me the same scare. He didn't mean no harm, he just wanted to test the heart. So that's what your brother was doing, testing the heart of these jokers.
Testing the heart.
And if they ain't got no heart with your brother, they ain't got no heart if it's a problem outside at a restaurant or at another skating rink where you don't have friends, and this guy gonna run before you do. Can't have that.
But still,
that's against the
rules. In Knoxville, everybody knew everybody.
But that's
so
in
that
Knoxville.
was the other problem too, is he knew what these guys
But then what he should have done, since he knew, is went to Joe and said, Joe, I think your sister's pretty. Now look, I'm not trying to disrespect you, Joe, or what you doing for her, but I like her, man. So if you're gonna beat me down, just beat me down. I'm not gonna get you back. He wouldn't have touched him. He wouldn't have touched him. He wouldn't have touched him if he came to him. But see, you gotta make the first step. You gotta put something in it.
Okay,
it's like a dude trying to holler at you, and he ain't got to put nothing in his words. You're gonna walk away anyway.
That part right there.
Okay, keep it going. So respect the bruh protection shield. You can break the shield or get an opportunity to have it crack for you. You understand? but you can't act like you don't know what you know. That's where I'm at with that.
Well, you know what? You're right, because he liked Chris, right? So he meets Chris, he liked Chris talked to him the whole night. He talked to my mom, and Chris understood it's me, my mom, and my brother, so you got to handle that.
Safe scenario, me and my sister.
With us, So he went in like that, and okay, can I tell you a funny story? My brother will so kill me for this story.
He won't kill you now. He'll just take some cheese off your cheeseburger.
Right? Nobody's listening to this story.
No one's listening. No one's listening.
Cool. So we're at the house when he first meets Chris. Now, my husband thinks, this is at the time the guy I'm dating who will become my husband.
Absolutely.
All right, his name is Chris. So my brother and I are at the house. My mom's not there. It's just me and him. And I said, listen, Chris is going to come over. I want you to meet him. I'm in college, right? Mm-hmm. Chris is going to come over. I want you to meet him. He's home. Well, all of a sudden, here's how he meets this guy that I'm going to eventually marry.
Go.
Chris comes in the door, and all of a sudden, my brother's in the kitchen, and I'm in the kitchen, and a mouse runs across the floor. So we scream.
Okay.
We jump up on the cabinet. So there's a mouse in the kitchen. So Chris is, hello, Ray, trying to walk through the house. And there's a little mouse. All right. Sterling, he comes in, and we're screaming, hugged up with each other on top of the sink in the kitchen.
So you and Joe are hugged up.
The football player.
Now,
He's in college right now. He in college.
Let's be clear. Do not run up on her brother thinking he will scream when he sees you.
Okay.
This guy is not a person.
Check that.
Let's get it right now.
Right now. Hitting is what he does. But there was a mouse.
It's not what it's
now,
a mouse.
It was this big.
But men, people,
correct.
Do not.
Don't play it.
Don't
try it.
Don't do that.
So we're on the counter. We hugging each other and screaming. This young man that I'm going to introduce to my brother comes in the kitchen, looks at this big football player on top of the cabinet with his sister screaming about a mouse. Watch this. This on a mouse trap, a glue trap, wiggling.
Oh, no. You know what? So the mouse is already trapped. And now, hey, Renee, I'm going to give you a pass because you're a beautiful young woman. But you better believe when I see your brother, I'm all over.
It's wiggling. It's on the glue trap. So we're on the counter. So this young man who will become my husband, he goes,
that part.
you get him. Okay, you got a bed, you got a broom, you got whatever. So he does whatever, he gets the thing, he takes it on the outside, and everything good? And so my brother, what's up, man? What's up?
He's cool. See, back to the A statement. You gotta do something to prove your worthiness.
Prove your worthiness.
That's what it is. It's the brotherly thing, baby. It's supposed to happen.
Sterl, Chris, when I say my brother is gonna kill me, when
no, that's all right.
But Chris and I still, to this day, we've been married almost 36 years.
See, people don't even like me for 36 minutes. You got to be married for 36 years.
January to be 36 years. And I can remember that like it was yesterday. And so he's like, wow, that's a football player.
Well,
but it's great because it set the stage for the kind of person that Chris is, which you know.
Well, I know,
he's
yeah.
so easygoing,
and see,
so nice.
And Chris always been real cool because Chris was on the basketball team. I was on the football team at UT. And so, you know, that part. That part. So it's like.
But that has nothing to do with Joe. But then we bring Joey in, and so I call Joe Fishback Joey, and so. But yeah, so
I've never called him that.
I know. Nobody else does. Me and my mom. But
exactly.
Yeah. So, but he was he was so very special to me, and so thank you for mentioning. He is so very special to me, and it's funny because it's this ongoing in my family where I can't stand my brother, right? I mean, 'cause you can't be beating up your boyfriends and you like your brother. Right. So I couldn't stand it.
Absolutely.
But you know the rules. You better say nothing about my brother. You know that rules, right? I can say whatever I want to say. You can't say nothing.
That's
so
true.
To this day, the rules in the family, both my husband, my children, because his children,
come on,
the oldest want to be like, and yeah, we call him big guy. Big guy does da 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 and da 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 and da da da. And everybody just, my husband does this. I said, Joey made me so mad. He said da 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 and da 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 and da da da, and he did it. My brother, my husband, Chris.
And Chris has been that cool since the first day I met him, baby. In Gibbs Hall lobby way back in the day. He's been the same way.
Not gonna say a word.
Ain't gonna say a word.
So
just
he's
keep
like,
it moving.
listen, I learned. I'm not even fooled with that. Whatever that.
Man, that's a good story right there.
But you know, I think it's about. That's how I grew up. So we grew up very close and.
Yeah.
Like a very close-knit family. And so the love that you have for the University of Tennessee, the love that you have for Big Orange and all the stuff you did, because you found family here, right? Yes, when you went to the University of Tennessee. That's how I feel as a native, having always lived here, Pearl. I feel like, you know, that I grew up in neighborhood. I grew up in community. And family was very important, even though it was small. So then you get extended to community family, right? So the neighbors are your family, the neighbors' kids are and then your mom and their mom are friends, and then their kids and you. So it feels like Knoxville. I love this, you know, so you're hearing all these statistics about Knoxville becoming the fastest growing city, right, in 2026. But for those of us who are from here, that is exciting. Yes. And yet, I pray that we can still have that beloved community where it still feels like you got neighbors, you got friends, you got community that loves each other, that embraces each other. Yes. And in so doing, I think Knoxville can really become really the model city for what it looks like to have a beloved community, a network of community, and at the same time growing where everybody wants to come here. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, as a guy that's not born and raised in Knoxville, but you know, becoming an adult in Knoxville. I became an adult in Knoxville. I moved here when I was 17. I went to college, and now I'm 190 years old.
With the energy of a 6-year-old.
An IQ of 5.
Well, no, I did not say that. I did not say that. Yeah.
But you know, it's just I watched it grow so much, and I made a statement to a friend of mine, Miss Rucker, who was a teacher at Beaumont Elementary School.
Okay.
I told her back in it was 88, I think my sophomore year in college. And I said, Knoxville could be bigger than Nashville and Memphis. I had been to both of the cities at that time.
Wow.
I said, because Knoxville, at that time, although it wasn't what it is now, but I saw where the growth never touched the city.
Yeah.
The movement, the
even Chattanooga was kind of starting to move, and we were still kind of
exactly. But I saw where the breaks, and again, I'm young, and I'm thinking I know more than what I knew.
Sure.
But I saw where the ceiling in Chattanooga and the break in Chattanooga would stop.
Wow.
Knoxville's ceiling wasn't the same.
Yeah, that's prophetic.
I said that to Miss Rucker, was born and raised here, and I used to work with her kids back at Beaumont Elementary, and her dance teams and so on and so forth. Even took the dance team down to Nashville to raise the money for the DARE program they were going to take out of Knoxville, and Governor Ned McWhirter cleared the $1 million to give us. That's a true story.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
And it's those things when you say community, because I know it took a village to raise bad little Sterling. I'm a grown man.
Well, and you were still growing. You were still growing. You needed that nurturing community.
I needed it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about needed it to the nth degree back when I was growing up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Because I would do something and get scolded by my neighbors, then come home and get scolded again by my mother.
That part.
Okay? And the village poured in. That was the investment. Now, I tell people, all that I'm able to do now, and the resources I'm able to touch and people I'm able to impact, it's all because of people invested in me when I was young. If it wasn't for the Boys Club, I don't know where I'd be.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know what I'd be able to do. And I say all that because I watched Knoxville grow. And someone like yourself who, we're still impacting young lives in the neighborhood. These are things that Knoxville has to invest in again to me, because the potential of Knoxville and its surrounding areas, put a 50-mile surrounding area around the city of Knoxville, the potential is untouched.
It really is, and I think that it's always been that way. I think the geography itself is so beautiful, right? We sit in the middle, and it's always been this way. We sit in the middle of one of the most beautiful areas of the country, number one. You have all the major interstates coming through here. You can go from the East Coast to the West Coast, south to north, all the way up to down from 75 north to 75 south to I-40 east, I-40. So we are a connector, right?
Yes.
You can also find yourself anywhere quickly in no time flat, right? Because you can just hit the expressway if you need to. And at the same time, you have a community and a culture that's rich in history and tradition. So I think Knoxville, to your point, East Tennessee, and specifically in Knoxville, we are poised to really be that place for real.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
I believed that back almost 40 years ago.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say people like you, Sterl, because I'm not even saying this lightly. I believe by faith that when the history books are written, it's gonna mention your name and others. Hey, I heard that, Holy Spirit, that set the tone for this growth. Because to your point, it didn't just happen. It's been coming along. And it's been coming along because of people like you and others who look like us who have been pouring into a community, and we didn't leave, right? We invested in it. And we're going to see that return on investment for the next generations. They're going to get that return because we can see it progress now. So I want to say this, and I mean it with all sincerity. Your work has not been in vain. It is part of the building blocks, because what we don't always understand in history is one thing touches another thing that builds on another thing that creates the foundation. That's the legacy, and that's part of that growth, and you're part of it.
Well, I've shared this with you 1,000 times now. I just do what I do because I love what I do.
Yeah, to God be the glory.
And my thing is, if I can keep a smile on somebody's face, that's what I'm doing. Because that's what Eliel, my mother Ellen Henn, did for me and my sister. And my aunts and my great grandmother and my grandmother, my uncle Mel gave me her. So
the spirit, her spirit is in you, right?
Absolutely.
But it's also a spirit of love, of kindness. So yes, it's a gift. Yes, it's filled with energy. And yes, you use the gifts and talents you have. But beyond that and including that is that genuine love, right? That those ancestors had before you were even born, and never mind when you got here. The love that they poured into you, the love that they expressed to you, that love is in you. It becomes who you are. And I really believe, if I can say this, and I know I'm a preacher, so we know the greatest gift is the love, but I do believe by faith it's how we treat people, right? I believe it's how we love people. And so many times we don't say that, but it's in us. And so I say this to you all the time, and you know I send you a text, I love you. I say it.
I love you more.
I do, and you say
Yeah,
it back.
yes.
But we say it because it comes from a genuine place
Absolutely.
of, of a spirit of a people who weren't angry, right? Though don't get me wrong, there were things that did not feel good, didn't make us feel good, and yeah, we got mad, and they got mad. But they didn't live in anger. They lived in love. And that's what they passed on, the resiliency of a people. And that's why I like writing history. That's why I like writing specifically East Tennessee history and African American history, because rooted in that is a love of a people. And we get to bring that up and really talk about, people who just had this genuine love for people, for community, for something bigger than self. In reality, what you're doing, Sterl, is you're exuding that love using the gifts that you have. But it's love. You can't have that kind of passion and not be filled up with the love inside that came from a special place.
And my mother's special, but
Something about that major.
Ooh,
goodness.
Hey,
My mother was special.
Hey.
I'll say is, so my mom transitioned in June 30th of 2000, 25 years ago, and yet it still feels like 5 minutes ago some days.
Yeah.
Some days it's like yesterday, some days it's like a million years since I've seen my mom. But always, and people tell me this too, her spirit is in me. She had the spirit. In fact, I talk about this all the time. If you ask me where my genuine compassion came from, where my love came from, my mother loved hard. She loved her children. She loved people. Nobody went without. My mama could take the 2 fish and the 5 barley loaves and make it feed the 5. I don't know, because every football, Carson Newman, you mentioned my brother was at Carson Newman, all the NAIA championships. I mean, huge football players. Anybody that needed to or wanted to could come to the house. And here's the deal. Like today when we talk about if somebody comes over to your house for dinner, okay, how many's coming? What time are you coming? Who else is coming? Woo-woo. Because you got to be prepared for the meals on. I don't understand how my mom never needed you to call. She didn't need to tell me that you were coming to eat. If it's Sunday or if it's Saturday and she gonna fry some chicken, or if it's Sunday and she got a whole pot roast in there, you can just stop by, no appointment needed, meaning half a football team, right?
Yeah.
You can come to my house and there's a plate for everybody and the food just kept going. I don't know, wait. I lived in the projects. I have no idea. Now she'll marry my stepdad and we'll move into a house, but my mom did not have very much, right? And yet everything she had, she welcomed it, and she loved us through food too. She loved to cook. She was a great cook. Her daughter didn't get that. Her son got it. Her son, I can clean. I can clean with the back and shine it.
Awesome.
I can't cook a lick.
I'm
but
trying to get one of the two.
Can cook.
What?
He cooks just like mama. He loves to cook. You will not walk in his house. What you want me to fix you? He loves it. My mama did the same thing. You walk in the house, what you need, baby? If we didn't have anything, which was very rare, that she wouldn't have something for somebody to eat, it's not a problem. You hungry, baby? She gonna fry some cornbread. She gonna put on some potatoes and onions and sizzle them up. She's gonna find something to make sure you have something
And
to
stick
eat.
to the ribs.
And my brother is the exact same way. To this day, if you walk in his house, if you don't smell something cooking, he'll get something cooking if you walk in the door.
Oh, I see. That's what I never knew about
He's
fish.
a
See,
cook.
I'm
He
learning
cook
about
just
fish.
like my
The
mama.
mice,
Yeah,
the mouse, the mouse trap, and I'm learning fish can cook. Whoa! That's all right.
He really can.
Wow,
yeah.
that's awesome.
He even hit
That's
the chitlins.
awesome.
He can do everything
What?
like my mama. He
What?
do the chitlins. He do the greens. He do fried. Now they're like my mama. They gonna fry everything. They gonna fry the corn. They gonna fry the okra.
But he gonna make it taste good, man. You gonna be healthy walking away from
You gonna
that
have
meal.
a
That's
lot
for
of
sure.
sodium, and you gonna have it fried.
But that's all right. It's gonna taste good going down. It's gonna feel good inside. That's one thing about homemade cooking. You go
That's
outside
it.
and go out to eat, but it's nothing like cooking from home.
Nothing like cooking from home.
Talk to me about your passion, things
Yeah.
you're doing with the Beck Culture Center, because you run that place,
Yeah.
and I know the things that you deal with through the which is a nonprofit situation. Let's talk about the Beck Culture Center.
So the Beck Culture Exchange Center is one of those places where I didn't see myself being there, right? So in fact, before I went into ministry, I thought God was finally going to let me move out of Knoxville. My kids to graduate, our kids had graduated. We moved out of the house. We moved back into a home. I grew up in my mom's house because I thought we would just keep that house and we'll leave, but we'll always have this little house, my mom's house. So we sold other properties that we had. And then of course, God, has this sense of humor, and decides to call me in the ministry, so I become the pastor. And so, but what I discovered is I've always done community. I have always loved helping. I've served on over 50 boards and committees. Yeah. I have dedicated my time, my resources to children, to senior citizens, which are really my favorite people in the whole wide world. But seniors, our community, homeless. I have friends that live in every one of our low-income communities. I visit. I was a chaplain in the hospital. I visit the hospitals. I am my mother's child. I don't know how to live without giving away everything I have. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. So if I have, I just give because I like to give. I am such a giver. I am so much better at giving than receiving. I'm horrible at receiving. So I'm trying to get better because I teach other people. Now I say this to other people, no, you got to be able to receive, right? I'm saying that, and I just really would rather you let me give than to receive. So I believe by faith that we're supposed to leave the world better than we found it. Everything I do must bring God glory and honor. I believe that God told us when you did it to one, the least of these, you did it unto him. My life is committed to giving to those who are in need. And watch this. As a preacher, let me separate that from Beck and come back to Beck, but as a preacher of the gospel, my ministry, I remember saying this to God one day because I love people, and especially the least of these, right? If I can help somebody along the way, because my mom did. So I always found myself helping. And I said, I remember one day when God called me in the ministry, I would tell someone, I say, God called me to the least of these. That's my calling, is to the least of these. And so whoever needs help, that's my calling. And I never forget one day when I was saying that to someone, I heard the Lord say to me, no, I didn't. So I said it again because I thought he didn't say that. So I was like, yeah, so God called me to help the least of these. And he said, no, I didn't. So I was talking to somebody and I was embarrassed, right? So I was like, I know I heard him say no, I didn't. So I just closed out that conversation. I went home, I prayed, I went to sleep, and the Holy Spirit said this to me. He said, I didn't call you to the least of these. He said, I called you to the lost sheep, and that knows no price. I'm comfortable helping the have-nots. And maybe I was a little uncomfortable with the haves, thinking they don't need anything, right? Mm-hmm. And God reminded me that everybody needs something. So what I had to learn to do was to minister to whosoever will. And that changed everything. So that when I walk in a room, I'm not just looking, Lord, what can I do to help the community, the individuals, the people? But I walk in a room, sit at a table with many of the haves, and they need me just as much as those. And so I want to speak a word to encourage, because we assume that people who may or may not look like they need anything, right, or in theory should not need anything, everybody needs something. Yes. And so the idea that I get the privilege to help the people I love, the least of these, and people that I didn't know I needed to be loving on, those who have. So everybody is in the welcome in the kingdom. And so what I try to live now is an opportunity to just help whosoever will, let them come. I always want to have something kind to say to everyone. Yes. And so one of the things that Beck has allowed me to do And I stand on the shoulders of the likes of Avon Rollins and Robert Booker, right? So I come behind civil rights leaders and icons thinking, okay, what is it you want me to do here? Lord, he said, I want you to speak truth. Truth is so powerful. So history is just truth. And truth is what sets us free, because when we know better, we can do better. Yes. And so my assignment at Beck has been to uncover and discover this rich history that can change the trajectory of this exciting future that you already saw in Knoxville. In fact, I used to say this, Pearl. I used to say, I want Beck to not just be a place where people come to Knoxville. Oh, and while I'm here, I heard they got this little museum called the Beck Culture Exchange Center. They're creating this little museum called the Delaney Museum, International Museum. No, I don't want that. So people say, I came here to go to UT football game to see Sterl the Pearl. And while I'm here, I'll go over here and see Beck in the Delaney Museum. I want people to say, I came to Knoxville because of Beck. Oh, and while I'm here, I'll go see Sterl with the University of Tennessee and see a football game. Because I wanted to be a driving force for tourism. I wanted people to intentionally want to come to this region. So from an economic standpoint, I want to drive tourism and economic development in our city, which we can see we're doing that.
Yes.
So that people want to come here as a destination, right? Yes. To visit our rich history and to hear the stories. My goal and my vision is that when people come here from all over the world, and they will, as we create this Delaney Museum that God has set on my plate to do, along with continue to grow the Beck Culture Exchange Center, but also the Beck Culture Corridor, so you can do walking tours and driving tours and see where history took place and see and hear the stories of extraordinary people who were here and left legacy. Yes. And these people are the foundations for why people are coming. In fact, I remember when Mr. Boyd, Randy Boyd, when we were developing the stadium, and he came to me, and this is long before any contracts are signed, anything. He's at the Beck, and we're having this conversation, and I'm telling him about my vision. I'm telling him about the dream. And he says, okay, well, maybe come walk with me on the stadium, which I didn't think he meant that. I knew what I wanted to do. I said, I want people to be walking. And I said specifically down there where that stadium, I don't even know there's going to be a stadium, right? I just said, the land, you can ask him. I said, I want to do the Beck Culture Corridor. I want to go down there and tell history. Nothing has ever been advertised at this point about a stadium. And I said, I want people to walk around and see where these people lived and see the stories. And he said nothing, right? He said, I like that Beck Culture Corridor, though. He said, I like the idea of, right? He already know what he's thinking, I'm sure. And do you know, from that day forward to this day today, I've walked alongside of him to do this kind of project. And literally everything that we have said, I see it happening, and he's doing it and walking around. And I just get so filled. So now when people go to the baseball stadium, Beck commissioned every one of the statues that you see down there. It's the largest, and we're not done. We're still walking alongside each other, and we're still doing developments down there, because when they come to this city, they're going to come because now of the rich history and culture that's down there that Beck did. Yeah. Oh, P.S. I'll stop at the stadium and see what they're doing on the game night. See if they got a soccer game or a Negro League game or a baseball league, whatever it is, and really feel like they just walked into a community, into a city that really embraces its history, its culture, and each other, right? Yeah. It's a story of resilience, and I want to tell that story, and I want when people to come to leave inspired, and our history does that. We just don't know it. So I'm living for that right now. That's the vision that God has given me. And it's also good news, because it's going to continue to grow our community, our city, but moreover, it's going to inspire another generation. Because when I can say to you, Pearl, right there on that spot, especially our children, the person that you want to be this, do you know that you had the greatest, I'll use this one as an example. No. I'm writing about this particular person right now. So a lot of kids may or may not understand that Green Elementary School, for example, gets its name from Dr. Henry Morgan Green. Dr. Green is one of the world's, I'm going to say world's, not city, world's greatest, physicians. He's a world-renowned physician, and he's going to be he's going to study and be the world renowned voice in this disease called pellagra. Pellagra is going to ravage the world like COVID. It's not just in this country; it's all over the world. So he writes a book about it. Beck has that book, and they study that. I just had someone call me last month to get information from across the country on a new book that they're writing in a graduate program, and they need to use his research. Dr. Green is not only, going to help find the cure for that disease, but he's also, this renowned physician is going to be the president of the National Hospital Association of Negroes, what they'll call them at that time, across the country. And then he's also going to be a county commissioner, a city council person city councilman is what we'll call it. But he's brilliant, and everything he did was to advocate for children, for community, for the least of these, for Knoxville. And as such, we have a school named in his honor, Green Elementary School. And many of our kids don't know that, but it's really nice when you can live in a community, point to a name, and be inspired by that person who lived right here where you live. Here's what they did. And now we tell the story and the legacy of it. So I want to be able to tell more of those stories so that when you come, for example, to the Delaney Museum, which Beck is developing now, an international museum with friends in Paris, France, who are waiting with bated breath for us to finish this. Chicago, New York. Everybody's calling me, finish the Delaney Museum. The world is waiting to come. And you look at this, Buford Delaney, a world-renowned artist to this day, one of the greatest artists of the 20th century, abstract. To this day, his art all over the world right now and in this moment is beyond priceless. Right now, it's the hottest ticket, and he's from right here in Knoxville, and we have the last remaining ancestral home, and we're trying to develop that so the world can come and see the place where the greatest artist of the 20th century, born in poverty in 1901, left art that the world is still trying to figure out. It's so amazing.
So you got me inspired. Now, these are stories I didn't know.
So
Renee, I knew nothing what you did. I just got me some nuggets right here.
And it's so much more, but the idea is this, Sterl. My responsibility, I believe, at Beck is to continue to tell these kinds of stories so that you want to know more, right?
Yeah.
The more I tell you, the more you want to know, because I got to. So
Get
I talk
intrigued.
about. Well, let's talk about this. I talk about men, right? When you go to the baseball stadium, you see these great, handsome gentlemen down there. This was intentional too. So you see these great baseball players, which is fantastic. But then you see this one intentionally commissioned. I commissioned this particular one when you see Forrest One-Ring Maddox. So you have a baseball player in 1920 with one arm amputated halfway up. Well, it's one thing, as I said before, to have an amputation, right? And you were born with that, and you just learn how to maneuver and become the Southern Negro League champion and one of the best players on the team, right? With just an amputated arm. It's another thing when you were born with two arms. This is what I want young people to know. You were born with two arms, and especially our children and persons with disabilities. You were born with two arms, and it's up to 12, and you love baseball. You're 12 years old. You have an accident, and now you're amputated, your arm all the way up to your top of your arm. So now you know what it looks and feels like to have two, and now you don't. But then you go on to win the Southern Negro League Championship in 1920 with an amputated arm, right? That's the story I want to tell people. So he's there to inspire us to say there's nothing you can't do if you set your mind to it, right? That's for anybody. Persons with disabilities, persons without, anybody. I want you to be inspired by that. Moreover,
This is all that Covenant Health Park?
yeah.
Right
So these
downtown?
are all of the statues, the
Oh,
gold
my
bronze
goodness.
statues at Covenant Health Park. And then there's a statue of William M. Brooks, Professor Brooks, who is actually the principal at Green Elementary School, and he's the manager of the Negro League Southern Giants, the Knoxville Giants, which are our Negro Southern League team here in Knoxville. He establishes the Negro Southern League in Atlanta, Georgia for us so that our Knoxville team can play. So he's standing there dressed in gold, right, with his little, his suit on and all of that. So I wanted you to see the inspiration of what it looks like to be a professional, a manager, and involved in sports, right? So you get that look. Then I said, but there were kids too, right? So I said, y'all, we gotta have kids down there. My baby's gotta be there.
Yeah.
There was a little league team that started in 1950s, right? Is when it started. And in 52 they're gonna play, in 53 they're gonna have this, and I'm telling them all the stories. And I go, I want when kids go to that park to see that kids played baseball too, and where it started in Knoxville before it was integrated. And so I went to the park and I looked and I dreamed and imagined, and literally I studied the little league teams in Knoxville, and I talked to everybody that played on those teams that still got breath in their bodies. I said, tell me the stories. And when they did, we redid those statues. 4 statues: the Indians, the Pirates, the Dodgers, and the Indians, Pirates, the Dodgers. I'm missing one of my teams, the Giants. And so they were the all-star team. I took one member of each of those teams. Imagine what these kids would look like based on all the pictures I have of all the kids from the 50s. And I put all 4 of them on a stand. Every detail of every one of those people, with the glove, with the ball, standing there like a team together. So when kids come, they see these beautiful statues with these kids. Kids played here, and they ignited baseball as a little league that we see today where we are right now. So they came off of the 1920 Negro League team, and then you had the little league teams, and now what can you have in the future, right?
Come on.
But wait a minute. So you got the men, the suits, the baseball, the players, the kids. Who we missing, Sterl?
The women.
Something gonna have to change around here.
We gotta get the women. We gotta get the women.
We're not done.
We're not done.
So the mission and the vision with Beck is to really get people excited about coming to Knoxville, downtown Knoxville, all the rich history, talking about the greats like Cal Johnson, Caldonia, Fackler Johnson, and talking about Nikki Giovanni, and talking about, just all of the great people who live right here in this community, the Delaney's who live there. And so to talk about the Delaney's, the next thing is, it is not an accident or coincidence that when you look at that beautiful development,
forget beautiful, awesome.
That amazing, awesome, spectacular development, that the largest residential condominiums bear the name, the Delaney. Where you think that comes from? So Beck commissioned that too, and so we named that the Delaney after Buford Delaney. Wow. Moreover, the second building that you see on that lovely complex is named Yardley Flats. Where does that come from? Beck commissioned that. That comes after William Yardley, the first attorney in Knoxville, Tennessee, and the first African American to run for governor in the state of Tennessee before the turn of the century. Wow. I mean, just incredible. So all the naming, all intentional.
See, and getting back to the growth of Knoxville, okay? And I'm just gonna be candid with this statement. You have a man, Mr. Boyd, who caught a vision of the Beck after you explained it to him. And it speaks to the growth of East Tennessee. You have all that rich history in a place that I'm not certain 50 years ago would have been as welcomed.
Yeah. Well, in fact, so funny you should say that, because this is Beck's 50-year anniversary.
Wow.
And it wasn't. So we had to create this space. 2025, we commemorated the 50 years of Beck since 1975. And you're absolutely right, because Beck's going to be birthed out of the fact that everything in the predominantly African American community known as urban renewal is going to get wiped away. And it's almost going to be as though it's never existed. It's going to be as though history didn't have a place or a space. And I love to talk about Beck from the beginnings, because it really starts before it's called the Beck Culture Exchange Center. It's the people's place.
Yes.
They call it the people's place. The people got together. And the People's Project, the people got together and said, if we don't begin to preserve and conserve history, now that everything's been torn down and ripped away, it's going to be as though it never existed, as though these people never existed. And so people got together with nothing but each other and said, how do we begin to pull all of this together so that 50 years from now, when Reverend Kessler and Sterl the Pearl sitting at the table, they'll be able to talk about because I want them to talk about it 50 years from now. And so they'll be able to say that. And so I carry that, right? I carry that this was started as the People's Project, and their idea was to commemorate this history, preserve this history, tell the stories, and celebrate this history. And here we are 50 years later, and we're doing that. And right now, on December 31st, we're going to close the time capsule, right? And it won't be open, right, for another, I was going to do 50 years, but I'm like Randy, because I don't know if you know, but when they did the time capsule down at the stadium, they did 25 years. He said, just in case.
Just in case.
So likewise, they go do 25 years just in case.
Just in case.
And we're going to close it. So you need to put something there. We need to put this tape in there.
Let's do it.
Let's put this tape in there. Let's do it. We need to put this in there so that we can say that Renee and Sterl was sitting here and they were talking about the beginnings. And at this moment in 2025, when we were talking about the history, Knoxville was growing and Beck was helping it to grow. Pearl was helping it to do its thing. And we have over 50,000 artifacts at the Beck Culture Exchange Center that speak to Black history, over almost 250 years of African American history and culture. And so 50 years from now, I don't know what that number is going to be. Yeah. And I don't know what Knoxville is going to look like.
But I know 1,000,000 pieces.
Well, no, 25 years, because we're not going to look at 50. We're going to look at 25 years from now, it's going to be even more. And I believe that we're going to be talking about, someone's going to sit here and go, wow, Sterl and Renee said it. 25 years from now, it's just going to be gooder and gooder.
And gooder and gooder get way better and better. Woo, tougher than leather, baby.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, man, the Beck Culture Center. If you haven't been there, I want to encourage everybody to come down to the Beck Culture Center and just check it out. Just check it out. I mean, Madam Renee is there. She'll give you a tour. If you have any questions, I'm quite sure, as you see, she can ask whatever's on your mind and give you some clarity to any situation that may be there that you might have some thoughts about, you know.
Or didn't even know you knew.
Didn't even know you
wanted to know.
I mean, you just gave me stuff. I'm like, this is heavy stuff that we've got to find a way, like you said, to make sure this legacy keeps going.
Yeah.
This history cannot die.
It can't. And history is being made now. So that's important too. So our young people and our seasoned people, we need to understand that we're writing history now still.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to tell these stories. And so we're going to tell the story of Sterl the Pearl, who came and took the city by storm. We're going to tell
I don't know if I took it by storm. I don't know.
You did. And you are. Let me say it that way. And then we're going to tell the story of our children. You know, our Bianca Belair Blairs, who I coached, right? Because, you know, I'm EKBL basketball.
Man.
And Janae Anderson and Crystal Kessler, my daughter, who's an attorney. You know, all of this stuff. These kids came right through this community, and they were our babies, and we loved on them, and now they're doing great and wonderful things, and we want to tell the story of all the things that they're doing and they have been doing. You notice I hit all those women's names, young ladies, but we got some amazing guys.
Something had to change in the conversation.
That's exactly right. It's just something about when you, because I remember coming and saying to Mr. Rollins and to Mr. Booker, when I got to Beck, I was like, okay, all this history is great, and I see all these men on the wall and all this. I was like, did women do anything in history? Because I'm walking around, and I don't see my ladies here. And both of my predecessors said to me, they said, Renee, we've been remiss. We've not done a good job at really lifting the voices of women. So I love that, too, the opportunity to sort of lift the voices of our matriarchs, right? Who's held family together, and the patriarchs, and children, and persons with disability. I don't want to leave anybody out of the story.
There's greatness everywhere. And it's unfortunate some felt that they can actually let what greatness out that they wanted to let out.
That's right.
Don't be totally transparent on greatness. Greatness is inspiration.
Thank you for saying that, because that is the point. Because I say, why are we doing African American history? Why? I don't want to. I don't want to do history, right? Absolutely. The problem is this part of the history hadn't been told. So I got to do what hadn't been told, right? But I tell people all the time, like, and I'll use this one as an example, not the only one, but I'll use it because it's a familiar one. I say to the kids, you know where Austin gets its name? Austin East High School, right? So some kids say, oh, yeah, it was East, it was Austin. They combined the all-white East with the all-black Austin, and they have Austin East. Okay, yeah, that's true. But where did Austin come from? right? And so the kids are looking at me like, I don't, and I have to tell them, and I love that the kids are learning this now, and the other generation. Austin comes from Emily Austin, a white woman from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who's going to come to Knoxville. Actually, before 1879, when she comes and develops the school, she comes as a teacher. She goes back to Philadelphia. She raises the money, comes back to Knoxville, opens the first high school for colored children, Austin High School, after Emily Austin, a white woman. But before that, that white woman was in the Civil War. Watch this. Working as a nurse, taking care of colored troops in the Civil War. She came down as a missionary to do that. Now that was long before that. This is an extraordinary woman, but if I don't tell you African American history, we don't even know white American history. So we don't know history, because absent of African American history, we don't know Emily Austin. She was extraordinary. So I believe that one day we're going to tell the full breadth of the whole story. So what we do at Beck is we not only tell the story of African American history, but we tell the story of history. And everybody, we don't leave people out.
Right.
So when we start talking about this, I say to the children all the time, when you go to school and they teach you American history, and they don't teach you anything great that African Americans did in this country. And all you learn about is some of the struggles and some of the hardest part, but you never hear about the greatness even of. And we got to talk about the hard part, but I also want to know, did you talk about the great things that they did? You didn't hear about that. They didn't tell you the whole truth, right? Likewise, if you come to Beck, and all I tell you is about African American history, and I didn't have anybody else in that story that didn't look like African Americans or black people or whatever you call them in the different generations, then I didn't tell you the whole story. Each of us are accountable to tell the truth and tell the whole story. So I want to tell history in such a way that inspires the next generation, that unsilences the voices of those that have been silenced, that unburies the history of those that have been tried to be buried and thrown away, and to really discover the history we never even knew existed, and all of the people that are a part of that. And that's what we do at Beck.
Wow. Wow. See, and I've always been a person who says greatness is colorless. Greatness is colorless.
It's the most beautiful color. How about that?
Go with
it's
that.
the most beautiful
The
color.
most beautiful. And so don't pigeonhole it is what you think it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's
It
greatness.
is what it is. It's great.
It's greatness.
It's great. It doesn't matter if greatness looks like Sterl the Pearl. Some people can still be great and not look like you, Sterl.
Absolutely. And, I encourage people not to look like me, because I know I'm not Denzel, so I don't look like me.
Greatness is beautiful.
Greatness is, and that's
Sterl the Pearl, but then we can still be beautiful on that other greatness side.
And that's what I'm saying. But some people have found a way to pigeonhole greatness to what they think it should look like. One thing I tell people about history, good or bad or indifferent, is nothing you can do to change it. There's not one thing you can do to change it.
That's right.
So
We can learn from it,
You can.
and we can grow from it, but we cannot change it.
Can't change it.
It's truth.
It's there.
And truth.
And it's truth and it's facts. None you can do to change it.
Nothing we can do to change it.
You
You don't have to like it.
You ain't got to like it. You ain't got
you
to,
can't
you ain't
change
got to agree with it.
No,
but it's there, period.
It is.
And when I see people trying to, put a remix on what's already done, you tell more about yourself than what you tell about
That's right. Because
what's going on.
Because you can't change truth.
Right.
And I love truth, because as hard as truth can be sometimes, and truth can be hard.
Yes,
But truth,
can
the
be.
Bible says, is what sets us free. And so when we know truth, I like the way James Baldwin says it. He says, if you're not afraid to look back, then nothing you're facing can frighten you. So we look back so we can look forward, because the truth is what's going to make us better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't harm. It's all good, because we can learn. I like this, and there's so many things that I talk about when I think about what our responsibility is. There's an old African proverb that says this. It says, when you take the elevator to the top floor, don't forget to send it back down so someone else can ride it up. It's so important that we learn.
I want to tweet that right now. Oh my goodness gracious. That's heavy right there.
It is, because it puts in the responsibility on all of us to make sure that we're carrying this history forward. In the African proverb, it's Sankofa. Sankofa means to reach back and get something in the history and bring it forward. So we don't lose that, right? So we bring it forward. Likewise, when we do that and we learn from it and we grow and we get there, we got to make sure somebody else can ride.
Send it back down so somebody else can ride. And that cuts through with the unfortunate mentality that some people have, that crab in the basket mentality. You know, you trying to get to the top and somebody trying to see, get to the top, then send that same well-oiled machine down to bring somebody else up. That's what it's all about. It ain't about nothing else. And hey, you done came here and dropped diamonds and all kind of jewels on this table today. Oh my goodness.
You got the preacher, she on her third closing.
Look, I need that. You might have dropped the whole diamond on us on that one. Wow, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, all this you have going on, I asked all my people this that have come on the show and to go in, and man, you went so far in, you might have came out the back door. I mean, we way in.
I'm not even going to apologize.
Man, you should not. You have enlightened my whole, you enlightened so many people on this thing here. Yeah. How does music affect you and your lifestyle?
Sterl, without a shadow of a doubt, I listen to gospel music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I unapologetically say that. So my kids already know when you get in my car, I really listen to it because it inspires me. I live, you see me in the natural, right? And this won't make sense to most people. I live in the spiritual. And so I don't even want to say from the time I wake up, because I'm laying in bed and I'm praying for all of those I love. People who are heavy, going through. I'm spiritually praying, and then God will let me rest. I'll pray some more. He'll let me rest. I wake up praying. So I don't wake up and worship. I've been worshiping the whole time I'm asleep. It's my life. And if I'm sitting somewhere and if I'm doing anything, the music takes me to a higher part of the spirit. And so I love music, but I crave gospel music. And I'm an old soul, right? So I was raised in the old tradition of the church. So I love the old music. I love the old sounds. And it's funny because I used to say, I think I preached this one time when I was growing up in my little small church. Every Sunday at Wilder Baptist Church, we sang Amazing Grace. All right, that had to be the longest, slowest, most boring song I had ever heard in my life. And I thought to myself, here we go. God. Every Sunday, I'm thinking, and they sing it slower and slower each Sunday. They add verses, you know. I'm thinking, praise God, praise God. They just got. I'm like, wow. And I mean, I was so sick of Amazing Grace growing up. I couldn't stand. Do you know? I love Amazing Grace. And you can't sing it slow enough. The words are so powerful, and the visual and the melody is so lovely. And I don't care what rendition it is, I just love it. So you can't appreciate that as a kid, right? But you grow up and you live a little bit, you can appreciate it.
And you live and learn and you understand those words. I mean, Amazing Grace, sometimes I don't listen to as much gospel music as most, and definitely not as much as you, but those certain songs touch me.
Right.
I tell you, my most favorite song in the whole wide world, which might amaze you, might surprise you, is Optimistic by Sounds of Blackness.
I love it.
That's my most favorite song in the world.
Now, let me be clear. I love gospel.
Absolutely.
But I like some Nelly, too. Wash that in the blood. Wash that in the blood. But I'm a Nelly girl.
It's getting hot here. Well, I tell you what, I know you will have the clean radio version. But, that's all right. Come on. Absolutely.
If you want to ride.
Don't play with it.
Wash it in blood. Wash
it. But it's amazing. I talked to a lot of guys. And some of the music I play might, teeter on some of the lines. I don't cross as much as some other DJs may when it comes to music, because I've gotten older and something I just won't play.
Right.
But my favorite song is Optimistic. The first time I heard that song, and every time I hear it, I gotta fight myself.
Yeah.
First time I heard that song, I cried.
Wow. Nice. And it stuck with you ever
since that day.
That's it.
1991.
Wow. Is that what your entree into music? You're really into this whole DJ kind of thing?
Well, I should be way better DJing than what I am now. I started DJing when I was, in 3rd grade.
So you just always loved music?
Always loved music. My cousin was a big time DJ in Newark, New Jersey. And I went to my aunt's house. And, I'm 8 years old, he's 23. Wow. I had an opportunity to actually,
so you watching him?
So he let me touch his turntables and do a mix. And I dedicated Special Lady by Ray Goodman and Brown to my great grandmother who was in the house at the time.
Oh my goodness.
And turned out ever since.
And you've been that way
ever since.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Go.
Can you sing?
Man, I'm a platinum lip singer. You know what?
Pearl.
I can do it, girl. I can
do it with you.
Yeah,
I can do it with you.
I can lip sync.
I got you.
Girl, let the record play.
Let it play.
I know the words, my mouth will move, but I better not let a note come out my daggone microphone, because I really hit the notes. I hit him in the eye. I hit him a black eye when I hit the
Pearl, but I love it, but I
got the passion. I just can't do it.
Pearl, I've been an usher my whole life. And I tried to go to the choir. They said, baby, go back on the door. Doorkeeper. I started leaving the door and I went toward the choir and they got worried. Oh my God, is she coming up here? I stopped at the pulpit.
I gotta get this story. I got a friend of mine I've known since I came to college. We came into UT together.
Right.
And she always tells me, if you can sing, you might be cute.
Well, here's my problem. I believe, because I asked God, why you ain't let me sing? And I believe I heard him say, Nay, if I had let you sing, you'd have been Beyonce in the club. I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to keep you saved and sanctified. You'd have been Beyonce.
Doing the thing, baby.
You already. He said that's a gift you couldn't handle.
But I didn't ask him.
He knew we couldn't handle it.
If I ask him, he might have said, don't you ask me nothing stupid like that again. You ask me nothing like that.
You know you can't handle that.
You know you can't handle being able to sing. Man, you crazy.
But I love watching those who can.
And I love the range. I tell you, I got a 17-octave voice. And I'm hitting all notes just like this. They walking around with a black eye when I finish hitting them notes. I'm hitting a note, baby.
But it makes you happy. Music makes you happy, and it does make you smile.
I don't, like I said, some of the songs that involve singing other than rapping, I'll sing, but I'm not in key. But I got the words right. Then when I mess up the words, I make my own up. They sound better. Keep it going.
Well, I can rap.
Can you
be the rapper?
Yeah.
I'm going to the rapper. I can do that. You just gotta talk and go fast and do this. Oh my goodness.
Renee, it's been a pleasure having you here on the Go In. Thank you so much.
I love you,
Thank you so much. I love you more. Oh man, I told you I was gonna lend you my solar panels who give me energy. This is it. Reverend Renee Kessler is here, director, top dog at the Beck Culture Center. Make sure you slide through and make it do what it do. We went in on the Go In.
We went in on the Go In.
And you know how I do every time I leave you. Until next time, it's DJ Sterl the Pro on the Vibe Line. My party people, continue to let that peace sign be your shrine. So to them, my friends, y'all get them up and y'all keep them up. 2 fingers.
Baby.
Baby.